like to start with introducing myself and introducing women in leadership, because I think for some, like Amelia, I think that's where we met so many years ago. And I'm happy that we are still friends since 2008, I think. That's a long time. And I'm so happy to actually be able to host you all the way from Uganda. This really, it brings a lot of memories to us. So welcome. Those who are joining us, welcome. I know everybody's asking, I can't see you, but they can see us, because I've just put the people who are going to be on the stage, so that at least you have an opportunity to learn from all of us who are going to speak today. So Women in Leadership, we started this forum in 2005. And we've been able to meet and have the forum around Africa. And this is where we've met a lot of women who are doing great things, women who are inspiring us. And when we get the opportunity to learn from these women, we really learn a lot, we are inspired, and we also transform our lives. And today, we're going to have 4 speakers among the 100 women that we featured in March. So I want to welcome you to the 5th Women in Leadership Virtual Masterminds. My name is Winnie Kamuya, CEO, International Renaissance Center, and the founder of Women in Leadership, among others. I am glad to host women to get to learn, to get inspired by them, and also to let these women inspire other women. And today we have 4 speakers from the 100 women from a variety of industries, having done a variety of things. So you can imagine the amount of learning that we are going to have in the next 3 hours from totally different people who are based in different places around the continent. I'm happy to host. We are going to move straight, and we are going to have Irene speaking from Swaziland, Kingdom of Swaziland, which is no longer called the Kingdom of Swaziland. It's called Eswatini. I've lived in Eswatini for 12 years. And I think that is where I met Irene. That's where we met Irene.
Yeah, that's where we met, yeah. It's been like 2 decades.
I know, it looks so near, yet so far. But such a lovely country, small country. So Irene, I've met her for, it's a long time. It's a long time, Irene, I think it's a long time. And I'm so happy that your career has taken different paths, and looking back, like how far, I think this is really inspiring, because I think where I left you, where you are today, those are 2 different places. And I think a lot has happened in your life for you to change your life in the way you have done. Before you speak, I would love to just read a little bit about what you have done. For me, I think I left you when you are still working with MTN. So what you are doing, very different, is not what I left you doing. So I'm really going to be learning. You're going to enlighten us, inspire us, challenge us in the things that you do. And I'm sure we are going to learn so much, because to move from one career to another and to change your life in the way that you have changed then requires a lot of like taking, and I love the fact that we are going to be talking about risk with you, because so many of us, we fear even taking any risk. So glad that you're the first speaker. So Irene Ayuma, Slongonyane. Ayuma. Slongonyane is the founder of OneClic Assurance, a business consulting firm that helps organizations manage their risks, assure, transform, and optimize their revenue generating processes. That's interesting. Risk. So we are going to be talking about risk. All of us, we are so scared of taking risks. So Irene is here. She might help us from the business perspective to bring that aspect to our careers so that we stop being scared of taking risks. Our clients include telco companies, mobile money fintech companies, training institutions, SMEs. Before devoting our work fully to OneClic, Assurance. Irene served as a general manager, MFS at Instacash, mobile money service provider, risk and compliance head, I think there's something there, at DT1 Revenue Assurance and Transformation at Mode Kenya, Revenue Assurance and Fraud Manager and IT Systems at MTN. You see where I left you so many years ago when you were doing systems at MTN. In addition to this, Irene has project managed and set up Instacash at MMP business operations, seeing them through the CBE system compliance audits, pilot phase and license to go live. Established the DT1 audit risk and compliance function, transformed modes array technology that improved billing accuracy and reduced data issues, facilitated implementation of MTN's RAFM primary control framework, seeing a reduction of revenue leakage risk wearing them. Irene, I'm really lost in terms of what you do. And maybe we can begin by you giving us a simple layman's explanation what you do. Maybe from there, we can begin to understand what you do.
Thank you, Winnie. I am honored to be here, humbled by your invitation to speak on the Women in Leadership panel.
Yeah.
I know this is a first, but I'm sure there will be many more to come. Yeah. Like you said, I am many things. I don't want to scare you with big words, so I'll be as simple as I can. And that is what OneClic Assurance is doing, simplifying and redefining those big words. Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Irene Ayuma. Like Winnie has introduced me, I am a governance, risk, and compliance and business assurance professional. So I've summarized that from the many things that I do in that. Currently, I'm the founder and CEO of OneClic Assurance, which is a business consulting company. I'm still a general manager at Instacash. It's a newly set up mobile money operation in Eswatini. But more than anything, I am an entrepreneur. At times when you have too much to offer, the office desk becomes smaller. So it is prudent for some of us to go out there and try and share the information that we have that cannot be exhaustively used by the organizations we work for. Quickly, I will try and summarize again my fields. I'm an experienced certified IT professional. So that is my core certification. However, other skills and certifications have surpassed my IT foundation. I'm a business risk and assurance practitioner, certified as a governance and compliance risk management professional. I'm also a project manager. I have worked in many areas. The areas that I can mention is the telecom, mobile digital financial services, mobile money services for over 15 years. But I'm also previously in training. I've done training. I think that's where Winnie left me also before before leaving, and I still enjoy training. I have gathered a lot of skills, system audit skills, business development, and IT governance. Now, how did I get where I am? It took me quite a while to be who I am, career-wise, professional-wise. Anyone asking me what I do, I wouldn't, I'll really take time to tell you what I do, because it has to be specific to the question, the environment, or it's just like a CV. You know, when they are advertising for a different job, you change your CV to suit that particular job description. So I'm one of those people who have so many skills, and I have to try and summarize them according to the requirement or the description. Anyway, my professional journey started in 2007. So in 2007, before 2007, I had a diploma in food technology. That was after school.
Food technology.
And it was one of those qualifications you go to do because there was really nothing that I wanted that was coming forth. So I had to go and do this diploma. It was like a gap, you know, trying to waste some time before I really find footing in the professional that I was looking for. So in 2007, I did go to do my BSc honors in computing and information systems in UK. This is a degree that was majorly rooted in IT, but was giving me also a few a bit of business allowance modules in it. So I would say that also informed, and it also built me to be an entrepreneur because of the degree that I did. Now, when I look back at where I'm coming from, I knew I had something to do with technology, but naturally, I am a business-minded person. Having to do technology, I was of the idea that in 10 years to come, technology sits in between everything we do. You know, it is the edge. So the business part of it wasn't really deep, but I have always had a thing for technology, and I'm naturally a business person. And I knew that I may get stuck in IT and not explore my business dream. But you know, nowadays you do what you have to do and work towards what you think is gonna come forth. So it was a bit daring for me to do IT. If you know IT people that you worked with, they are very stuck as programmers, as network, engineers. And when you talk about business to these people, it takes them a while to try and, it takes them a while to try and socialize with business. I'm one lucky person who, with my strong IT background, I'm able to really accommodate anything that has to do with business, has to do with assurance, has to do with risk management. So after my IT degree, I came back to Africa with the hope of getting an IT job. I was not sure if there was any other openings that would come other than IT. So I was focused on looking for an IT job. It took me a year to try and get a job. But the job that I got, or the job that I saw when I was looking for a white collar job, had nothing to do with IT. It was titled revenue assurance. I looked at it and I was like, I've never seen this. I don't know what revenue assurance is. But this is a job, I'm going to apply for it, because they had mentioned if you have an IT qualification. So I applied for this job. I applied for the job and I was interviewed and I was successful. And I was offered this opportunity in the telco company, which is MTN Swaziland. And I can tell everyone who asks me how I get ahead with my everything, this was the genesis of my successful career. I got this job. I had no idea what it was about. There was nowhere I could Google anything. It is not a career. It's not taught in school. To be a revenue assurance person, you have to merge, you have to bring together multiple skills to be able to succeed as an assurance person. So when I got to start the job, I was blank. The offer also came in as a new, it was a new function, a new office. So there was nothing to refer to. It was, we are starting a new function. Those are the things also which build me, because when you go into an environment and you are the first on the queue and you have to create everything, you start becoming the professor that never graduated with a PhD. So I think
creating a
partly
path
that,
where there was no path.
Yeah, partly I think that just put me on the edge of success, you know. So I had to go in here and I was clueless. It was a learning curve from beginning. It's like someone had told me 90% of what you've done in school, you're gonna put it in your degree, you're gonna put it aside. Now you are here in an academy. So in a revenue assurance job, you are like an entrepreneur. So when Winnie, you call me an entrepreneur, I like that name. I am an entrepreneur. It's a much better name for me than all the 10 titles that I have to explain to people, because any entrepreneur is a smart person without having graduated in the fields that they practice. That is revenue assurance. So there's a kind of a DNA that relates to an entrepreneur and a revenue assurance person, because in an assurance field, you are thrown anywhere and you are told you have to understand this environment, and you have to make sure that you are covering this company from any loss, any risk, any opportunity loss or revenue loss that can happen to the organization. So when I got this job, I looked at the only reference I had with revenue, with assurance, was in the food industry and medical industry. So assurance is more in the food and medical industry. For now, you will not find this assurance, revenue assurance functions in most organizations because it is a very expensive service and it has been left to the big fives. The big fives, which are the KPMGs, the PwCs, the McKinseys. Those are the people that handle and manage revenue assurance for most big organizations. However, now people are coming out to slowly adopt and build their revenue assurance functions. Companies like telcos cannot do without revenue assurance because the losses, the chances of them losing revenue is too high. So they have to make sure that they invest in assurance. Hence why I was lucky to have that opportunity to work as an assurance person in the telco. So like I was saying, assurance field is common only in medical and food industry. Rarely will you find organizations with an assurance functions. And it is because it is not a direct field. It is not taught. No one teaches revenue assurance. You have to bring a lot of skills together to become an assurance person. And it's also perceived to be very expensive. But I come in to say, and to tell business owners that this is something you can do without a big budget. And I will talk to my listeners about that later on. Being in this position, I stayed, I think, for 10 years as an assurance person. And it started becoming like, you know, I had learned everything and it was becoming boring. But before I get to say more about my experience, it is very important to know that any serious business person, any entrepreneur needs to know that assurance is everything. Assurance is, can you see me?
Yes, yes.
Assurance is everything because from my experience, I am able to do anything, anywhere, any industry, any company, with that knowledge of revenue assurance. And it is something that entrepreneurs can try to learn to either kickstart their businesses quickly or sit comfortable, knowing and understanding what is happening in their organization. So we'll talk about that later. Now, for me, like I said,
that's really an interesting thing that your foundation was in IT. Oh, you started first with a diploma in food technology.
Yeah.
Moved to IT, and now you created a new path. Didn't that feel like scary? Did you not want to give up? Did you not feel like, why do you need to change? There were no feelings of like despair, because when you move to a field, and I guess maybe the first diploma you did, maybe it was under the influence of your parents, or maybe that's what you saw was available, then you reach some place, what made you to accept that you can change? Because most of the times, once we start a career, we want to get stuck there, and we will remain there in most cases, even when you feel that you need to move, or you feel really stagnant or uncomfortable.
So for me, I was lucky, and I will tell any young person, any upcoming person who wants to grow in their career, it is at your advantage when you first get employed in a big organization. That was my break, my break even, like it was the genesis of my career. To be employed in a company that is a corporate, large company, puts you on toes. You do not have time to sit and feel I'm gonna retire here. You are on toes. So the revenue assurance career itself is an academy. You learn every day. You move every day. During my 10 years tenure in the telco in MTN, I changed positions 4 times.
4 times.
You have to 4 times. Yes, you have to move. You have to learn to be able to manage the position of assurance. It requires you, if you are having doubts about how to manage the marketing department, you need to either be doing a course or moving there to position yourself for you to collect information that you require to run the business. So assurance people basically run the business from the corporate governance to the billing point. So I naturally also am a risk taker. So that is why I'm a risk manager. I'm a risk taker naturally. I always tell people, I am the person who's described in the Who Moved My Cheese book, where when I arrive, I'm planning to leave.
So you plan to leave, you arrive.
I plan to leave when I arrive, because I know that I need to have, normally I give myself 2 years. In 2 years' time, I will have learned everything that I need here. After 2 years, I need to have learned, and I need to understand, to know where I'm going to take this information. So when it comes to the fear of moving from food technology, of course, it was not my choice. It was my parents' choice, because I was staying home. What I wanted to do was not forthcoming, so I had to go somewhere to do something.
Yeah. So every 2 years you leave, which means when you get to that position, you start to map, where is the next place I need to move to? What skills do you need to move to the next job or position? I can see you got spinned out. Are you back? Are you back? Just unmute, just unmute.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I was trying to answer your question. We need to say, as a professional, you will not rest until you get to start doing something that you're passionate about. I think that is, for me, what I was looking for. I had a passion in something that evolves, not something that is permanent. I don't think in my life I could be someone who gets to a desk and I'm doing the same thing every day for the rest of my life. Yeah. So it was not anything that I was scared of doing. As the opportunities came, I took them, and I had to learn and move. So long and short, that is how I got to be this type of person.
Yeah. So you are moving, evolving, learning, and finding new opportunities so that you can position yourself. For us, or for many people, once they settle in a position, that's their position, they want to stay in. Based on your experience on risks, wow. Yeah, I can see you get removed from there. Let's see, you're back again there. What are some of the things maybe you can share with us in terms of like in careers, when you're changing, what are some of the things we should be aware of, the risks you think that if you are not a risk taker, you want to take the risk? What is maybe one risk that people fear the most before making a change or moving to the next, or planning to move to the next position? Because you've changed, you are used to change every 2 years, you are in 4 different positions. What risks did you face? You're still on mute.
Definitely, all of us, we have responsibility. Normally, it's that responsibility.
Yeah.
You are not by yourself. So the first thing you think of is, I cannot move. Okay. Professionals, normally, what happens is you know that you cannot just move. The first thing you want to do is you want to protect your career. It has to be progressive. My advice always is, like I said, when you arrive, don't be comfortable. When you arrive, you understanding what is my career path? Where do I want to get from here? If you have a proper plan for your career path.
Just stop there. Maybe we need to take note of that. We need a career path. If you have a career path, then you need to know that you need to keep moving. So if you don't have a career path, you can't plan your career. You'll just stay where you are. You'll stay in the same position. You will not have the opportunities.
Yes. So a career path is important because you cannot, it is unpractical for you to say, I got a job here, I will retire here. That was for our mothers, you know. Now, it was for our mothers.
Yeah.
For now, especially for me, the thing that was making me move fast was I could feel I have exhausted. I have exhausted learning about this job.
Yeah.
Now, what am I offering myself? Not much. I'm offering the employer, of course, productivity.
Yeah.
And, you know, yes. However, for myself, what am I offering myself and the world?
Exactly.
Nothing much. Out of the employment environment, there is nothing you are offering much, because sometimes you are also bound by the
It's my internet that is unstable, your internet. Not sure. I think it's your internet that is unstable.
Okay. So normally, you have to ask yourself, what am I worth? Am I worth being here? Because when you are employed also, career path is the only way that will improve your financial benefits when you are a professional.
Yeah.
If you were to sit in one place for 10 years, it becomes a little bit hard And this is a trick for us, what we learned in the corporate environment.
Yeah.
In the corporate environment, you will not be elevated much financially or otherwise if you are in one place for a long time. But what we do in the corporate place is, you know that you've built your career. You know that it will not take you long to find another job because of what you do, because you have to also build that career. You have to be the best. You have to support, you have to do it properly, technically, not just the job you going, doing what you can. No, you build on it, you build a skill, you learn, you certify, you do all those things. And you are networking. You also keep a network of, peers who know that, you can throw in there and say, guys, I am leaving, I'm going, but I'm, just keep me in the loop in case. So a network is also something that can encourage professionals to leave, knowing that these guys know my job. I'm going here, I'm going to learn something, guys. And I will let you know if it's not going well, just know, I will need to come back. So for me, leaving was a way to also elevate myself. Because in the corporate environment, you will not be promoted if you're stuck below. Let's say there's a manager. On top, there's a manager, and you are an analyst. Okay. If the manager is not going anywhere, you stuck as an analyst. Okay. So I
can see the path. Like, you're growing your skills, and at the same time, you are learning and taking advantage of the opportunities that you find along the way. And I think reflecting back on what you said from where you started with your IT foundation, you are building your skills along the way to allow you to move to the next position. Is that so? You're freezing. I hope it's not my internet though.
Okay. So just to quickly, my movements, Winnie, were calculated because I had to leave for me to come back. So each time I will go, I will listen. I will keep my ear open to listen about where I'm coming from, and I would find out that, oh, people will not know the impact of you not being there when you're there
until you leave.
until you leave.
Yeah.
Yes, until you leave. That's when people will appreciate and know that, oh, so this was the person who was driving this whatever bus it was. So it helps to leave. It's a big risk to leave, but when you leave, it makes people understand. Okay, when you go back, they quickly embrace you. And they were like, no, come back. Things have stopped. Sometimes it happens in organizations.
Yeah.
Another reason for leaving is sometimes it is actually time for you to just move. But like I said, as a professional, the fears are there. I won't lie to you. The fears are there. The fears of you not being pensionable.
Yeah.
The fears of you not having a job with a monthly salary. Those are fears that all entrepreneurs, anyone moving from a professional job to be an entrepreneur, asks themselves all those questions. So the fears were there, but some of us, we have big faith. Sometimes you do it in faith. You move out in faith, and then
Yeah, that is one thing that we have to have, and with time we learn. And maybe that is why when you started the assurance piece, you are building and learning that you can still take risks and manage and still move to different positions, because as you move, you're also risking you could lose, especially if you are going to a position where you still have to apply new skills. But I'm sure along the way, you have learned important lessons that have made you to have the skills that you need, so that in the position that you are right now, or where you are right now as an entrepreneur, that has not hindered you in doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I guess this is really a learning path for us as well, that we should not stay in the same place. We should not stay stagnant because we are afraid, that we are fearing we will not have a salary at the end of each month, or we will not be pensionable. We have to have a career path for ourselves, so that we have an opportunity to learn more, be more, because again, when you move from one position to another, we become more of who we truly are. Sometimes you don't believe who we are, but when we move positions, we're able to discover. And like you're saying, when you are not there in that particular position, when you move to another position, that's when you realize the impact that you've had on the people that were working around you. We don't know when we are there. And the people working with us might not even discover or appreciate whatever they have, they've learned from you, or whatever your input is. When we move, they appreciate and discover the impact that you've been having. Unless I've forgotten something, is there something you'd like to tell, like if you had the opportunity to tell your younger self, what would be that? What would you tell your younger self?
If I was to tell my younger self or anyone else anything, it's to advise anyone to always prepare, be ready, never settle, don't be in a comfort zone, because the experience I had with my movement is one that has elevated me. One thing is, if especially people who, like I said, it's an advantage to start in a big organization. It's a very good advantage. When you start in a big organization, it's like you're being panel beaten, you're being prepared. But it is a waste if you work for a big organization and stay there until you retire. That is a waste to the environment. My experience for me was the moment I left that big corporate organization, where no one really, I worked so hard, did my work so well, but it was normal to my superiors, because it is a big organization. Okay, big organizations are driven from headquarters. You are told what to do. You are given what to do. The roadmaps are prepared. Everything is done for you. I only realized what I can do when I left a big corporate, when I was thrown in my next opportunity, where there was zero, there was a flat field. Hello?
Yeah, am I frozen now?
Yes.
And now, is it okay? You were explaining a very important point, and then you froze, and then I froze. Just repeat your point there. When you leave the big corporates.
Yes. So when you're leaving a big corporate, that is the only time you're giving yourself the test, ultimate test, to measure if really what you've been gaining from the corporate is anything to hold or anything to add value to the society. Otherwise, when you sit in a corporate environment for over 10 years, you are not adding value to the environment or to society.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are done for you. The systems are there. The solutions are top.
Yeah.
The roadmaps, the strategies are coming from the headquarters. You
Yeah.
are there, filled up, and no one allows you to innovate easily. No one gives you that opportunity to say, oh, what do you think? No. What you say doesn't matter, because the big fives have been employed. The KPMGs, the PWs, the McKinseys are the ones creating the strategies and doing everything. But it was after I left that big corporate and I went to a small, medium organization that I saw who I was, my capabilities. Everything came out that I had been absorbing from the big organization, and no one could touch me. I was shocked myself. I did not know who I was until I started working for startups, small organizations, medium organizations. It is very frustrating, however, because when you are in those big when you come from a big organization, the risk of you moving into a small organization is you get in a depression, because you get in these small environments or medium organizations, and you look at them and you are shocked. You're like, how are you surviving not doing this or doing this? You see, but these people are like, hey, you just came here. Don't come here with your big mentality. Here, we've lived here for 20 years doing this thing like this. So it becomes very frustrating. You have to actually be psychologically ready to work with people in a small organization when you're coming from a big organization. Because again, a time comes when you can fall flat with your big ideas because no one is able to listen to you, starting from the shareholder. The shareholder themselves, they pull you to the small organizations, not knowing what you are doing to make the big organization succeed. When you get to a small organization and you start telling the shareholder, look here, for me to make you the money you need, or for me to reduce the leakages, or for me to optimize your organization, we will need to do 1, 2, 3. And the shareholder says, no, just do, you have to work like in thin air. They think you just need to be there for things to move. So if I was to tell my smaller self, my younger self, looking back, I don't regret. I do not regret ever leaving one position, moving to another, because it is a mental thing. If I was to just quickly, Winnie, go back to my experience from MTN, I changed my job to a mobile digital finance organization. In 2020, because of COVID, the organization collapsed. It just stopped doing well, not collapsed as such, and it was under receivership. And I lost my job. I lost my job. I had left a big corporate, gone to a small a medium organization, which was really, which had elevated me and had, I was a top senior manager, but I lost my job before COVID. COVID affected, most organizations. And that is where I sat down and reality check, a reality set in that I actually now do not have a job. So one thing that I learned from there is, when I look back, what do I tell myself? That it is good I went through that process, because one thing that makes people not move, not even a salary, it is, I am not pensionable. what will happen to my children if anything was to happen to me now? At that point, you're asking yourself, why then are you busy working for tomorrow when you know tomorrow will not come? You know, there are those questions we ask when we are employed. We overthink
too much,
and we start being God, you know. So one thing that I learned is pensionable is something that even me, you know, you think of pensionable, my kids and every, you know, all that. But here you left, what I want to say is your pension is God. I'm a Christian, so I always say my pension is not money.
Yeah,
it's not money. So psychologically, employees who are scared of moving, the first thing is my salary and my my pension. Now, another thing that talking to people who want to do entrepreneurship but are scared is a lot of people have mystified opening a company. The myth behind opening a company is the tax man. Oh, I can't open a company. The tax man will take all the money. So we try to also, in our finance services from OCA, we try to tell people, a tax man will not arrive and just take your money. The tax man looks at, you are running a business.
Yeah.
How is the business being supported? So a lot of, I know that one of us here is a finance person. They will tell you that people do not understand that opening a company is not me getting my $20 and giving the $20 to the tax man. It is me getting my $20, using the $20 to run my business. When the tax man comes, I need to explain to the tax man that all the $20 has been used to run my business. So I think just to quickly end this, I will say that
you've given
I don't have regrets. Yes.
Yeah, you've given us three actually. Be ready, be prepared. You have no regret. And then on the fear of being pensionable and maybe the salary, we need to think to trust in God and believe that that will be covered. While we believe, we also need to work on it. Want to thank you so much for giving us an opportunity and also for sharing about the assurance. I'm sure we will apply this in our lives. I'm not checking whether there's any question. Oh my goodness, I didn't tell everyone. You can just be sending your questions in the chat there, and we can be able to share the questions with her. But we have learned a lot from you. We've learned it's good to have a career path. It's good to be ready to change positions every now and again. And when we have a career path, we definitely can change. In the meantime, we'll be learning as we move from one position to another. We can also realize our impact, because when we are working for big corporates, it's very hard for us to identify and actually know what impact we are bringing in. The skills that we have, we can always apply them elsewhere. Want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to share more about what you do. We now understand, we now know that we can face risks when we are challenged in our careers, in our lives. If we change, if we want to actually even become entrepreneurs. For that, we want to thank you. We want to be able to come back to you in case we are facing those risks and we don't know what to do. Whether in our businesses, we know now that there's somebody who can be able to address those issues on our behalf. Thank you for your time, Irene. Thank you so much. We shall be breaking for 2 minutes and then we shall be joined by our next speaker. And I look forward to having you and for you to be able to also join and listen on others, what they are going to share what you can learn from them, what you will be inspired to do, and what you'll be challenged to do. Thank you so much.